cattle.
I remember thinking, of all the fascinating stories out there just itching to be reported, here I was writing about the life cycle of beef in my dead-end hometown.
At 20 minutes before 8 Central Time, Professor Farrell of the Mount Jennings Observatory, Chicago, Illinois, reports observing several explosions of incandescent gas occurring at regular intervals on the planet Mars. The spectroscope indicates the gas to be hydrogen and moving toward the Earth with enormous velocity.
As I gazed at the stars that night,
I dreamt of finally leaving Grover's Mill behind.
perhaps I would move to Manhattan.
Strike it big as a journalist covering developments in the city, or perhaps the excitement of high society.
Of course, how could I fathom that in a mere 14 days, there would no longer be a Big Apple to move to? I considered investigating what I had heard. Whatever it was could be big news, real news. But I was tired and discouraged, so I retreated back inside. For that decision, I thank God every day.
I awoke the following day in a fog. I had slept deeply, admittedly, drunkenly, late into the day.
It took me a moment to realize that the incoherent ruckus assaulting my ears was coming from the radio. I must have left it on the night prior before dozing off.
Flag of truce. If those creatures know what that means, what anything means. Wait a minute, something's happening. Humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springing from the mirror, and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Lord, they're turning into flames. Now the whole field's caught up by the woods, the barns, the gas tanks of the automobiles spreading everywhere. It's coming this way now, about 20 yards to my right.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with our field transmission.
I couldn't believe what I'd heard.
We'll return to
That horrific scene was here, in Grover's Mill. I set out to make sense of it all, to see exactly what was happening with my own eyes. But then the screams from the radio flashed through my head. Then the silence. I remember the rest of the day with excruciating clarity. Sitting, listening, waiting.
Counties of Mercer and Middlesex is under martial law.
The mysterious weapon as a heat ray. All too evident that these creatures have scientific knowledge far in advance of our own.
We take you now to the field headquarters of the state militia near Grover's Mill, New Jersey.
Well, we ought to see some action soon. One of the companies is deploying on the left flank. A quick thrust and it'll all be over. Now, wait a minute. I see something on top of the cylinder. No, it's nothing but a shadow. Now the troops are on the edge of the Wilmuth farm. 7,000 armed men closing in on an old metal tube. A tub, rather. Well, wait, that wasn't a shadow. It's something moving. Solid metal, kind of a shield-like affair rising up out of the cylinder. It's going higher and higher. What? It's standing on legs. Actually rearing up on a sort of metal framework. Now it's reaching above the trees and the searchlights are on it. Hold on.
I sat in the darkness wondering if I was dreaming, if this had all been a dream. The first time I met a Martian tripod was face to face. In that moment, the only thing my brain could comprehend, the only thing I could think of, was the cattle. Suddenly they seemed so familiar to me, like peering at my own photograph. Surely, if I have learned nothing else, that terrible war has taught me pity. Pity for those witless souls that suffer our dominion.